What's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So a lot of people say that Kevin Levrone is an uncrowned Mr. Olympia champion. Now, the reason they say this is because he's a multiple-time runner-up at the Olympia. He was a multiple-time runner-up to Dorian Yates. He was a runner-up to Ronnie Coleman a couple of times. And he seemed to be a permanent top 6 fixture at the Olympia between the 90s and the early 2000s. So when people say Levrone is an uncrowned Mr. Olympia, one of the Mr. Olympia competitions they instantly revert to thinking about is the 2000 Mr. Olympia held in Las Vegas, Nevada. So many people say this was the best Kevin Levrone that ever stepped on an Olympia stage. Some people say that if there was a year he should have won, it would have been this year. It would have been the year 2000. So in 2000, Ronnie Coleman won the Olympia with a score of 20. Kevin Levrone had a score of 42, and Flex Wheeler had third place with a score of 62. So then fast forward to 2002, where Kevin Levrone would take second to Ronnie Coleman again, and at that show, Ronnie Coleman's score was only 29, and Kevin Levrone's was 38, so they were closer. Ronnie Coleman's score had gotten worse from his score of 20 in 2000, and Kevin Levrone's score had gotten better from his score of 42 in 2000. So for those of you who don't know how bodybuilding works, the lower the score, the better the result. So it's kind of like golf. So even though Kevin and Ronnie were closer in scores in the year 2000, a lot of people think that was because Ronnie was off in 2002 and not because Kevin Levrone looked so good. They think Kevin Levrone was off in 2002 as well, and that his legs didn't really look up to par. So a lot of people refer to the year 2000 as Kevin Levrone's best year because they think he should have won in 2000 because of how good Kevin Levrone looked and not how bad Ronnie Coleman looked. So in 2000, people agree that Ronnie Coleman looked good. He looked like the champion that Ronnie Coleman was. He had that amazing Ronnie Coleman physique. But people were saying that Kevin Levrone looked so good that year, they think he was better than Ronnie even when Ronnie looked good. So in my opinion, 2000 was one of the best physiques that Kevin Levrone ever brought to the Olympia stage. So in my opinion, the 2000 version of Kevin Levrone would be the version of Kevin Levrone that I say would be an uncrowned Mr. Olympia. Now, do I think he deserved to beat Ronnie Coleman that year? I'm not mad that Ronnie Coleman won in 2000. I think Ronnie Coleman deserved that win, and I don't think Kevin Levrone was robbed. But what I'm saying is, if there's any version of Kevin Levrone's physique that I think deserved an Olympia crown, it would be 2000 and not 2002. So like I said, people think 2002 because the scores were a little bit closer, Ronnie was a little bit off, and Ronnie's score was a little bit worse, that Kevin Levrone should have won that year. But if you look at Kevin Levrone's physique in 2002, and compare it to the physique he brought in 2000, I mean, his back was much less dense. His legs looked a lot worse. And like I said, from the back, I think Ronnie still had him, handily beat in that 2002 Olympia. Now, Kevin Levrone's upper body and his front double bicep in 2002, I think his front double bicep probably destroyed Ronnie's in that 2002 Olympia. I'll show you guys some photos here from that. But honestly, I like the 2000 version of Kevin Levrone's physique. He's very aesthetic. And his legs still look pretty damn good. So when you look at those photos from 2002, yes, Kevin Levrone's upper body is looking massive and freaky, but look at his legs compared to Ronnie's legs. I mean, Kevin Levrone's legs had really started slipping in 2002. So I think his upper body had definitely come up and even improved from the 2000 Olympia, but his legs had fallen off significantly. So that's why I say 2000 was a more complete year for Kevin Levrone and a more deserving year for him to have won the Mr. Olympia. So let me know in the comment section what you think below. Do you think Kevin Levrone should have won in 2000, or do you think he should have won in 2002? And which year do you think Kevin Levrone had the better physique? So also, he came runner-up to Dorian in the early 90s. But personally, I think back in those days, Kevin Levrone was not big enough. He did have the aesthetics and he did have the conditioning to hang with Dorian, but I think the size factor was just not there because that was the time where they were kind of ushering in the era of the mass monster, and I think Dorian was just dwarfing Kevin Levrone at those Olympias. So I think when it comes to Ronnie versus Kevin, the competition was much closer than Kevin versus Dorian. So again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What do you think was Levrone's best year, and what year do you think he deserved to win? Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.